Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's just lovely to have you on for the ride. Happy football season, baby! Eagles kick things off tonight in Brazil, in case you haven't heard. They're playing in Brazil. Good times. I caught some good vibes from Jalen Hurts yesterday. Nick Sirianni, a little hoarse during yesterday's press conference. Watching the players run around yesterday just on video and Eagles.com and watching the news coverage and all that stuff, and Nick Sirianni talking to our man Sal Powell and all that stuff. I get a sense that it was, to a lot of these players, like, stupid. Like, why are we going down there? A lot of fans think the same thing. It's stupid. Why are we going down there? This is dumb. And then you actually get in the moment. You see the city a little bit. You go through the routine. It's no longer hanging over your head. You're actually doing it. You're actually there. You're practicing. You're running through the motions and all that stuff. Not just going through the motions, but running through the motions. And you're going down there. It settles in. Oh, yeah, this is a business trip. We can do this. And Corinthian Stadium down there is all decked out in Eagles logos because they want this to feel as much of a home game as humanly possible for the Eagles. So much so that they even asked Nick Sirianni about, hey, you don't have the home game technically, but this is supposed to be a home game. And Nick Sirianni took that as a coaching moment to coach the Sao Paulo fans about the Philadelphia Eagles and what they do when the Philadelphia Eagles have the ball. What you should do when the Philadelphia Eagles have the ball. But all in all, just watching the players, regardless of where it is, even if this is how I'm treating it, even though on the schedule it's slated as a home game, just call it what it is, a neutral site. It's just stupid. But anyway, bottom line is I'm treating this like it's a road game to start the season. The Eagles won't have their actual home opener until 10 days after tonight, okay? It's an away game. It's a road game. I'd love for the Eagles to open up at home, so we could all just embrace and watch everything that's supposed to come together this year with a new Kellen Moore offense and a Vic Fangio defense, the actual Vic Fangio defense. But I am just looking at this game as what it is. It is the first game of the season. It is, as I pointed out yesterday, this Eagles opener. I can't remember a time where there has ever been more pressure on week one than there is right now. The end of the season, even with the addition of Saquon Barkley, even bringing in your two new coordinators, even diminishing the responsibilities of Nick Sirianni further than they've already been diminished since he was hired as the head coach till now. Even all that, the acquisitions and the coaches and the coordinators, I still haven't turned the page on last year. And I know I talked about the time the addition of Saquon Barkley, it's helped turn the page, but it's not going to really happen until I see the Eagles win. And not just win, but control. Because the Eagles in the first 11 games that they played last season, they did a lot of winning. They won 10 games. That's pretty damn good of the first 11 that they played. And then they were terrible. I have seen the Eagles be terrible a lot more recently than I've seen the Eagles be awesome. I would love to see them go out tonight. This is what I want to say. I mean, this is what everyone wants to see, right? This is not breaking news. You want to see them go down to Brazil. You want to see them beat the Green Bay Packers. You want to see them control the game against the Green Bay Packers. You want them to win handily. Now, I'm not expecting them to beat a good Packers team that's well coached with Matt LaFleur and has a really good quarterback there in Jordan Love. A lot of people taking over Jalen Hurts at this point in time. And a stout defense, to say the absolute least. I'm not expecting them to blow them out. But be in control. I don't think that's too much to ask. Be in control. Be up a touchdown. Be up 2 scores. Control in the fourth quarter. Play good situational football. Put it in our minds like, okay, last year was last year. This year was this year. This year we see the coaching difference in Kellen Moore calling the offense. This year we see the difference in general watching the offense. This year with the defense, wow, we see a well-disciplined defense, because as I've been telling you since Vic Fangio was hired here, you're going to hear the buzzwords of quarters defense, not aggressive. You'll hear that phrase a lot. But one of the things you need to hear is discipline. And one of the things I've always taken away from any Vic Fangio defense I've watched is discipline. Whether that's staying in your lane, whether that's knowing to switch off, whether that's having understanding your gap responsibilities. That right there is a Vic Fangio defense, a well-coached, hard-nosed type of defense. Let me see all that come together tonight. Now, if the Eagles lose, now why is there so much pressure? Well, it's not just last year. It's last year plus the idea that after this opener, we have 10 days to break it down. We have 10 days to either be like, the Eagles, they got it figured out. The coordinator is a great hire. Jalen Hurts, MVP caliber again. Oh, it's going to be great. Or we got 10 days to go. All these changes, and they've changed nothing. Where are you going to be after this game, you think? Are you going to be in the hey, they fixed the problems where it's going to be great? Or are you going to be on the other side of it where it's like, should have just fired everybody. Should have just made Kellen Moore the head coach. Should have just made Vic Fangio the head coach. You don't want to be a head coach right now. Where do you think you're going to be mentally? What kind of headspace do you think you're going to be in after the game tonight? We'll get into that conversation. But all in all, and we'll also give you my, as I do every football season, my 5 things to look at for this game, 5 major focuses for this game. The Eagles did get dealt a bad hand, literally and figuratively. Isaiah Rodgers, who looked like he was slated to be the outside corner opposite Darius Slay. It looked like it. Not so much. Quinyon Mitchell looked like he might be the starting nickel. Now he might be the starting outside corner. There's all sorts of things that are going on with the Eagles secondary right now as far as whether he's going to be a nickel, whether he's going to be playing on the outside, whatever, however it's going to go down. I'll be following the whole thing leading up to kickoff tonight. What do you do in this situation? I think the obvious thing is Keely Ringo just goes out there and plays the outside corner, and you don't change things up with Quinyon Mitchell. However, I mean, that's what I would do, but I'm not Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio seems to think, and every player in that locker room seems to think, that you have a guy in Quinyon Mitchell that can just go out there and play. No matter that's the inside, no matter whether that's the outside. He's a first-round pick rookie that has already got the mindset and the mentality of a veteran, according to these guys. And nothing sticks out more than Darius Slay saying that Quinyon Mitchell has been ready since, quote, he's come out his mama. Did you guys try that, by the way, with your significant other? You ready? Oh, I've been ready since I came out my mama. I'm sorry, what? Just, no? Has anyone tried that? That's my new thing now. I'm going to use that. Have been using it, actually, for the last 2 days. But anyway, listening to Fangio, the rest of the locker room, talk about Quinyon Mitchell, it seems like he's going to be ready for anything. So we'll obviously dissect and talk about the excitement going into tonight's game. I absolutely loved what Jalen Hurts had to say about playing in Brazil. You could say it's just PR speak, whatever, but I loved what Jalen Hurts had to say. I really loved what Jordan Mailata had to say. And now I know it doesn't matter to Eagles fans today. It might never matter to most Eagles fans. Growing the game of football, I don't think many people care. But Jordan Mailata spoke yesterday about how special this opportunity is to show the game of American football to people that have really never seen it, to people that really have never broken it down, to people who have never sat in a stadium and really cheered on a game. Jordan Mailata, they weren't playing pro games in Australia. They didn't make their way to New Zealand. But he somehow got turned onto the game and wanted to give it a go. Went to international development camp, essentially, for the NFL. Met Jeff Stoutland, and the rest is history. So he's bringing in that international perspective that some people just don't realize because they aren't quite international. At least not as international as Jordan Mailata, for crying out loud. But he embraces this opportunity to put the game on display. And you know what? If you just love football, then you want other people to love football. And this is something that will help people love football. Or decide, yeah, this ain't for me. But it's all part of the master plan from Roger Goodell, as I've told you many times before. Global domination. But Jalen Hurts' answer yesterday about what it means to him to play on this international stage is fantastic. We'll get into that as well. We'll let you hear from the Eagles franchise quarterback. Philadelphia Phillies played yesterday as well. Talking about a game that they were in control of. It was a dud of a game. It was I mean, when you're watching a game on TV in Miami, and there's, I think it was reported 9,000 people in the stands, and even that seemed generous. It really is boring. It was like Kyle Schwarber could have had another like 3-homer game. And when you hear the baseball hit the seats, and you hear it echo and reverberate throughout the entire stadium, you're like, all right, well, no one really cares about this. I mean, I'm happy to see it, but it adds to the flair when you hear some live reaction from fans. And you did hear Eagles fans chanting EAGLES Eagles at the stadium last night, which, as I've told you before, I don't mind, by the way. The road Eagles chant in the Phillies game, I don't mind it. It lets you know how many Philly fans are there, all right? But last night's game was 1-0 after the first inning, thanks to Bryson Stott. Then Bryson Stott got a home run in the sixth inning. Then you had Cody Clemens come out there and help this team win a ball game again, this time with a 2-run double to left field, which was very nice. And all the while, Ranger Suarez and the bullpen did their job. The bullpen allowed 1 run over 4 innings. The only problem I have with the bullpen, it really isn't so much a problem with the bullpen, it was just what the bullpen was asked to do, which was pitch 4 innings. Ranger Suarez, 82 pitches last night. 3 hits, 2 walks. 5 innings of work? Huh? I thought this was the game where he was supposed to be unleashed. No pitch count. He just goes out there and does his thing. Well, if you watch the game, then you already know where I'm going with this. Ranger didn't look like Ranger. Ranger's fastball was topping out at 91 miles per hour, and he might have only hit that once or twice in the game last night of the 82 pitches. He stayed away from his fastball for the majority of the game. And in the first inning, he was only popping the mid at 88, 89 miles per hour. Not great. Not great. Matter of fact, his hardest fastball actually was at 90 miles per hour in that first inning. He threw it, I think, twice in that first inning, and he threw 13 pitches. Those 13 pitches in the first inning, if you watched him on the mound, he already looked like he was laboring. Here's the good news, though. 5 scoreless innings. Used his curveball beautifully. Used his changeup, believe it or not, masterfully. And he kept guys off balance. Rob Thompson, it might be a cliche, but Rob Thompson said it after the game. Yeah, he didn't have his velo. His velo was down, but he pitched. That's what Rob Thompson said after the game. So, in other words, he had to figure it out and rely on his other stuff. After the game, Ranger Suarez was asked about the velocity. He was just like, well, if that wasn't working, but everything else was, then I stuck with the other stuff. Fair enough. But the bigger problem is this is your 3rd start back from a back injury. And this was supposed to be the start where there was no issue. Where there's like, hey, you go out there and you do your thing. If you would have told me that Ranger Suarez was going out there and pitching 82 innings and he was pulled, I would have thought, definitely an injury. The other thing, if you would have told me that Ranger Suarez was going 5 scoreless and he was pulled, so he must have a pitch count of like 100 by the 5th inning? Nope. Was pretty damn good. 13 pitches in the first inning, then 17, 21, 13, 18 pitches in the 5th inning. That's not a bad outing. That's a pretty good outing. 82 pitches through 5 innings of work. You assume you're at least going to get 6 innings out of that, or 6 innings, assuming he goes 15 more pitches, gives you the 6th inning. Maybe he has a quick 6, maybe he even gets you to the 7th. But wasn't the case tonight. And certainly didn't seem like it was going to be the case after the first inning when you saw, again, 90 miles per hour, 2 to 3 miles per hour below what you're used to seeing Ranger Suarez pitch at when it comes to using that fastball. But he stuck with the other stuff, and it worked. You got the backup you needed from the lineup. Bryce Harper did play in last night's game, unfortunately. Went 0 for 3 in the game with a walk. But I don't think that vacation is coming anytime soon for Bryce Harper that we had talked about after the Phillies played in Toronto. So for me, it's a little bit of a worry still. And it's going to be a worry until Bryce Harper breaks out of the slump that he's in. When it comes to power and getting on base consistently. Look, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon that everybody else seemed to be on in the month of August, where he hit 300 and got on base at 375 on base percentage, but he wasn't hitting home runs. Yeah, I'd love to see the home runs again. I don't think that's going to happen until he gets a little bit of a break. Don't know if the Phillies are going to do that with Alec Boehm already on the mend. Now, Austin Hayes, you guys know I'm not the biggest Austin Hayes fan, but now he's on the 10-day IL with a kidney infection. Hope he recovers from that quickly. But with that time, Johan Rojas is going to get more play. Here's the thing that upsets me about the Johan Rojas thing. Johan Rojas was hitting like 275 in August. Like, my man was figuring it out. And then he doesn't play anymore. Like, they celebrated last night was his first hit since like August 25th. And I'm like, well, how much has he played since August 25th? Not much is the answer to that. And then last night he hits the ball on the screws twice. Just unfortunately, it was right at people. Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough one. A little bit of a rough couple weeks for Johan Rojas, but he's going to get an opportunity now with Austin Hayes on the mend. But with Alec Boehm down, I don't think they're going to sit down Bryce Harper anytime soon. Maybe when Alec Boehm comes back. But then you're going to be talking about potentially being in the Rays series and also being in a 3-game series with the Mets. There is one major thing that came out of last night. And if you haven't seen it, here it is. It's a funny thing. Look at this list. This list is referred to as the standings in Major League Baseball. And oh my goodness gracious, who's the first place team? Who's atop this list? Ahead of the Dodgers, ahead of the Brewers, ahead of the Orioles, ahead of the Gardens. The Gardens are a great team. The Yankees, that might be their next name change. Or just the Gardens. Yankees, Padres, Diamondbacks, Twins, Mets, Braves. Phillies 8 games ahead of the Braves, 8 games ahead of the Mets. Phillies have the tiebreaker over the LA Dodgers because they've obviously spanked them throughout this season. So the Phillies, once again, are the best team in baseball. And how about this little nugget? The Phillies have won 5 games in a row now, and they haven't won 5 games in a row since May 18th to the 23rd. And that was part of a 6-game win streak that was in large part thanks to back-to-back, well, because it was thanks to Nationals, sweep against the Nationals, and then a sweep against the Texas Rangers. We're so back, baby. We're so back. Are we done with things saving the season, by the way? Is Cody Clemens now the latest to save the season? No? Okay. Season was already saved. Good. We're on the same page. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into your Philadelphia Eagles kicking off the season in Sao Paulo tonight. Yes, I acknowledge there has never been more pressure on a week when no, take 2. There has never been more pressure on a week 1 game than tonight's week 1 game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. With the Eagles kicking off their 2024 campaign, new coordinators, new players and all, tonight against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to tell you the first thing that I am just hyped about tonight. 5 things. Here's the first thing I'm really hyped about watching tonight. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley means so much more than just a running back. Hey, the Eagles got a good running back. Like DeAndre Swift, I feel, is a good running back. I think Saquon Barkley is a great running back. The impact I want to see, not just of him in general in this offense, but him playing in a Kellen Moore offense, him actually being targeted by his quarterback. And this all comes in. I heard Ron Jaworski use the phrase the other day, impact back. Like he's impacting every single play. He's dictating in a lot of cases what the defense could be doing because they know of the talent in the backfield. Previously, the Eagles have had some talent in the background. Miles Sanders had a pretty good year with Jalen Hurts and his MVP run and the Super Bowl run. Then you also had a pretty good year last year with DeAndre Swift. These guys, 1,000-yard backs. They're pretty good backs. They could also catch the ball in the backfield, but they ain't Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is going to be a nice, big, sexy target for Jalen Hurts around the line of scrimmage. Also, taking advantage of still a mobile, even without Jason Kelce. Let's keep a tab running on how many times I say without Jason Kelce in this next segment, okay? No matter how many times without Jason Kelce, or how many times I say it, but we have Jason Kelce no longer on this offensive line. How is this offensive line going to get downfield? How are they going to execute for screens? Because it looks like it's going to be a factor this year. And even if it's not a screen, just having Saquon Barkley leak out gradually into the flat for a potential 15-yard reception, it's right there. That's the type of impact he can have, especially if you have Jalen Hurts being coached to utilize the running back position and the check down, something that we really never saw with Jalen Hurts with great regularity and could be seeing it this year. And why is that? He's got the best target he's ever had out of the backfield in Saquon Barkley. Oh, then there's this other thing that Saquon Barkley can do, which is like not catch the football, but just run with it. Where you hand him the ball, you hand the ball to a running back, and then, oh my God, they run with it? All right, let's try that too. Put the ball in his hands. I'll take him over Miles Sanders. I'll take him over DeAndre Swift. I can't wait to watch Saquon Barkley tonight. That to me is, of all the things that you could be watching, generally speaking, we'll talk about Kellen more generally in a second, but of all the things that you could just look at tonight that it could be different just from a personnel perspective, the impact of Saquon Barkley. Can't wait to watch it tonight. Number 2, Vic Fangio's defense. You saw, we all saw an aggressive defense in the preseason. Really. An aggressive defense in the preseason where Vic Fangio actually blitzed linebackers. Okay. What else did we see in the preseason? We saw a corner blitz, a safety blitz. He's not supposed to be aggressive. He's supposed to be very passive. He's supposed to just let the defensive line go out there and eat. But he didn't do that. Even with whether it was Ben Von Sumeren, whether it was Jeremiah Trotter Jr., whether it was the injured Devin White, who's not going to be playing tonight, obviously, as we all know by now, he's not even in Brazil. Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond. These are all guys that could be, hey, go get the quarterback. Go get Jordan Love. Go ahead in the business tonight. All right, we could be seeing that tonight. But I want to see that gap discipline. I want to see that discipline in the defense. I want to see that communication. I want to see this defense obviously have a lot of success. And I also want to see what it's like to have the original versus the cover band that we've been watching for the last 3 seasons, whether it was Jonathan Gannon or Sean Desai. I want to see what it's actually like to have the real deal calling this defense that the Eagles have coveted for so long now. And the experience, the respect that Vic Fangio brings to the fold here, I want to see all that come into fruition on the football field tonight. And I want to see I want to see guys like Jalen Carter go out there and eat. I want to see Jordan Davis go out there and eat. I want to see Bryce Huff, how he's going to have success in this defense under Vic Fangio, despite all the doubt leading into this game. Because as we all know, this matters tonight. This is no more a dress rehearsal. This is no longer training camp. This is Bryce Huff. Whether or not, pass or fail, he can be a 70% snap guy. Here is my prediction for Bryce Huff. I'm going to put him at 60% of the snaps tonight. I think that's obtainable. You're talking about a guy that a year ago was a 40% snap guy and still got you 10 sacks. Every single time he was out there on the field, he was put in a position to have success, do what he does best. Now he's being asked to do more. We have referred to this with Bryce Huff as the promotion. Is Bryce Huff ready for the promotion in this Vic Fangio defense? And not just from Vic Fangio, but what the Eagles are asking him to do in general. Is he ready for it? Is he up to the task? Vic Fangio, I know, will put him to work tonight. And Fangio has a lot of decisions to make going into this game. We mentioned already Isaiah Rodgers is going to be missing this game tonight. Who's going to be playing on the outside for him? Can't wait to see what that looks like when the starters are announced, inactives come out and all that stuff. Can't wait to see what that looks like. But you already are going to be down 2 guys that were at least expected to be, if not starters, second on the depth chart, at least get some significant run, whether that be Devin White or Isaiah Rodgers. So a tall order already for Vic Fangio. Number 3, Jalen Hurts and the turnovers. I've already referenced how just taking the check down, not forcing anything. That can make things a lot easier for Jalen Hurts. It's going to be a tough go of it tonight. When it comes to Jalen Hurts and this defense, you're facing Jair Alexander. You're also facing Xavier McKinney, who I know a lot of us had on our short list for safeties that the Eagles should get in the offseason. And what they got was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Eric Stokes, also seeing him back there as well. This is going to be a tall order, a very tall order for Jalen Hurts. Reading the defense, what the defense is taking away from him, what the defense is giving him, how aggressive is he going to be in this situation? How aggressive is he going to be in week 1 of an offense that just 2 months ago was 95% different? How's it going to look for Jalen Hurts tonight? That's probably the most important thing, because all this is great stuff. Especially when you talk about the offense, talk about the coordinators, all this is great. Jalen Hurts still has the keys to the kingdom. And all this could be great. And I think about the quarterback position, and I heard this about I actually heard David Letterman say this. And I think it makes great sense. David Letterman would always talk about his position on the Late Show as a great car being put together. He's from Indianapolis. He's from Indiana, the Indianapolis 500, all stuff, big race car guy. And he always said that so many people work hard to put you in a great position to do a show, right? And he said, but that's like you get a great car in the Indy 500, and then you sit in as the driver, and then you drive it into the wall. Jalen Hurts is that driver right now. Jalen Hurts is in the driver's seat. The Eagles have put together a fantastic car around him. Kellen Moore obviously brings a lot of experience. The defense should be able to take care of their part of the bargain this season. And Nick Sirianni has been asked to step away from game planning, play calling, and now he is the head coach of emotional intelligence. That's what he is right now. Oh, and the vibes guy. Okay. Yeah, him and Garrett Stubbs are pretty much the same. But anyway, the Eagles are in a situation right now where they have Jalen Hurts in that driver's seat, and they put him in a beautiful car. Can he take it the rest of the way? Ultimately, he's going to be in charge of that. Watching two quarterbacks last night put their team in a great position, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, obviously some MVPs, right? And just a couple of toenails away of the Ravens tying things up, maybe even winning it. Maybe they go for two. But those two quarterbacks just refused to lose, and they kept on putting their teams in great positions to win games. Need to see that from Jalen Hurts tonight. And yes, it is going to be a tough order with that defense in front of them. Speaking of that defense, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you brought in Kellen Moore for experience. You brought him in for success, too. He's had success in the league. He's had a number one ranked offense. So you brought him in for experience, and you brought him in for success. We're going to see how much experience matters tonight, because this is a matchup that I find very interesting. Jeff Hafley, who's just been the head coach at Boston College at BC for the last 4 years. He's been in the pros before. He's been in the NFL before. He has coached 3 different spots in the NFL. He's never been a defensive coordinator. So now he's in a similar situation, or the Packers fans are in a similar situation, where Eagles fans had to trust some guys that had maybe only been a defensive coordinator once in Sean Desai, and a guy who had been around defensive coordinators in Jonathan Gannon, and hope for the best. Hey, that could work out for the Packers, but this is where the experience argument gets put to the test, because you could be experienced as all hell, and then you can just face somebody who's more talented and better, and they're in the first year, and you get your ass whooped, okay? Make that experience matter tonight, Kellen Moore. Have Hafley go out there and just be like, oh, I don't even know what the hell's happening here. Make his head spin. Yes, he's got great defensive players there at his disposal. And that's the next thing we're going to be talking about. But you have some amazing things that are going to be putting together for the Philadelphia Eagles on this offense, going up against a defensive coordinator that is not experienced at the NFL level and being a defensive coordinator. If you're charged with anything tonight, Kellen Moore, make experience matter. Be playing chess when he's still trying to play checkers. You know what I mean? Have that get down there. So take advantage of that. Make experience matter is something I'll be paying attention to tonight. Also, this is the other thing. The fifth thing I'm going to be looking at. Goodness gracious. Here it is again. Without Jason Kelce, the Eagles have a tall order in front of them. Eagles offensive line certainly has their work cut out without Jason Kelce, and also without Cam Jurgens as their right guard. And they have a guy in Mekhi Becton who is now going to be their starting right guard. Okay. Biggest right guard ever. Ginormous. Hasn't played the position at the NFL level before. And he's going out there tonight next to a center who's never played center at the NFL level before. Cool. At least when it counts. And who are you going up against? Well, you're going up against a pretty good defensive line there. Kenny Clark could be he's good at football. Kenny Clark's good at football. Sean Gray, he's also good at football. Now Gray's going to be on the outside of this thing with Clark in the middle. There's a tall order for your interior offensive lineman to be in charge of handling some very talented players on that defensive line. That's what the Eagles are going into tonight. That's what this offensive line is going up against tonight. In what's supposed to be a home game, the Eagles and this offensive line are going to have to be all over that communication. Whether that's Cam Jurgens to Jalen Hurts and picking up that blitz. Because, if you're Hafley, you're coming into tonight's game, you're like, all right, let's start blitzing. How do I disguise blitzes? What's the best way to disguise these blitzes? What did the Giants do against them last year? What did the Buccaneers do against them last year in the playoffs? How do we get in Jalen Hurts' grill? How do we put it to the test that Jalen Hurts, whether or not he really did study his ass off in the preseason and in the offseason about picking up blitzes. How do we put it to the test that the communication between him and his center and his offensive coordinator is going to be on point? How do we put it to the test? Havel's going to be dialing that up tonight to confuse the hell, at least attempt to confuse the hell out of Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens, and maybe have Mekhi Becton's head spinning as well. That's what I'm looking at tonight. Saquon Barkley, Fangio defense, Jalen Hurts versus that incredible secondary that they have out there in Green Bay. Kyle Moore versus Hafley in this offensive line, going up against a pretty stout defensive line of the Green Bay Packers. All in all, tonight, I expect the Green Bay Packers to take the L. Yeah, you can chalk it up as bias, but I just think the Eagles are just far too talented, and I think the Eagles are very well coordinated. I don't want to say coached, but I feel like they're very well coordinated. And speaking of coached, Nick Sirianni, as I alluded to earlier when he was addressing the media in Sao Paulo, was asked a question about how it's a home game but not being a home game, and what he's expecting from the crowd while the Eagles have the ball.
The similarities, but about the crowd, because it's a home game, but you don't have the home field advantage.
Okay, I'm going to give it away. Well, before you go, I'm going to say that to the Brazilian crowd, we're so excited to be here. Make sure you're as loud as possible when Green Bay has the ball. And then when the Eagles have the ball, make sure this is a sign to be like, this is fly, Eagles, fly, and quiet down a little bit. Go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
All right. That, in all honesty, that might be the best coaching I've seen from Nick Sirianni in quite some time. So, welcome. I love that. That's great. Vibes. And I also thought it was funny. I also thought if you watched any of Nick Sirianni yesterday, or maybe you just saw it on social media, you just heard him right there. Could we just let Nick take a nap? He said yesterday he wasn't sick. He just said that he lost his voice. Nick, go take a powder, buddy. Go nap. Go nappy poos. Okay, go nappy time. Whatever he does, whatever he's going to be doing on the sideline tonight, I don't even know what that's going to be other than walking up and down the field. You know, I think he's going to need some rest. And you know he's going to be yelling and screaming. I can't imagine what he's going to sound like tomorrow night or tonight after the game. But yeah, take a little nappy nap there, Nicky, please. All right. He also talked about how much he loves football. Go figure. I also thought it was cool that there were so many, as one would expect, international people at the press conference around the globe asking questions. Also, Tanner McKee has to just be a pig and you know what right now, having all this fun. He's like, I'm a third string quarterback. I'm probably not even going to be dressed tomorrow, and I get my own press conference because he lived in Brazil for 2 years. And speaks Portuguese rather well. So there you go. Anyway, Jalen Hurts also addressed the media yesterday. His voice was fine. And I really do love this perspective, because when you do try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a second, it really does help you appreciate another perspective. So imagine being Jalen Hurts. This is the scenario he laid out yesterday when he was asked about his excitement level and just basically his feelings about playing in Brazil.
I'm very excited. I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful place. And I think just being blessed and expressing my gratitude to have the opportunity to play in general, it didn't really matter where. And I'm just blessed in that. I think my personal perspective is, I'm a kid from, East Houston that used to play this game in the streets. Any piece of grass I can find, I'll go throw the ball around and really just enjoy the game, the love for the game, and just having the opportunity to come this far and in this journey and to be where we are. I just have my spirit is full of gratitude to be back here and to be here, and really just reflecting on how the journey has come for me.
There you go. Imagine for a second that you're just a kid growing up playing a sport. Most of us did that, right? And now imagine you're on an international stage. Like it or not, you do something like this, you're an ambassador to the game. That's what happens. You can accept the role. Well, you can acknowledge that that's the role, or you could be in denial about the fact that that is the role. And Jalen Hurts, I think, has the perfect perspective on it. It's like, hold on a second, I played this game in the streets of Houston. I remember, I am not comparing myself to Jalen Hurts, but I'm just saying as a child and you're playing games. Like I remember playing in my cousin's alleyway. They grew up in Allentown. And I remember going up there and their alleyway was just long. It felt like 10 miles long. It was probably like, 100 feet. I don't know. But just playing in that and just throwing a football around. And then all of a sudden you blink and you're on an international stage. Could you imagine? Like what sandlot did you grow up playing on? What park did you grow up playing at? Playing in front of your house in the street? Did you do that? Now imagine you're on the international stage. Put yourself in Jalen Hurts' shoes for just a second. Forget about the bank account and just think about the presence. And oh my goodness gracious! Oh wow, okay, well, a long way from Houston. That is pretty cool. Jordan Mailata was really. I mean, I told you earlier, but he had some beautiful things to say about just the international stage and what it could mean to a kid watching football for the first time. Pretty spectacular. I don't think, Vic Fangio did not address the media yesterday, but if he did and he was asked about playing in Brazil, I think he'd say this. Ugh. Thank you. So my prediction for the night. I think the Eagles do not control this game from start to finish. I said earlier, I'd love to see that. I don't think it happens. I think with the starters being on the field for the first time together, with Kellen Moore being the offense coordinator for the first time with Jalen Hurts in a game situation, with Jalen Hurts' communication with Cam Jurgens for the first time in a game situation, going up against a good Packers and talented Packers defense, I don't think this is a control to start to finish type of game. I see this as being an Eagles 27-24 victory. I think the Eagles come out early and they come out swinging early. I think we feel pretty good. And then I think there's a couple of plays that Jordan Love pulls out of his you-know-what, and they find themselves back into this football game late in the game. And we're sweating out the last couple possessions. But I think the Eagles win this game 27-24. Ultimately, I think we feel good after that. But for 10 days, a win like that will be heavily dissected. And probably before that 10 days is up, we'll have convinced ourselves that the Eagles are not going anywhere. Not going anywhere this year. They're going to the Super Bowl this year. They're not going anywhere this year. They're going to win a Super Bowl. They're going to start a dynasty. I think in the next 10 days after a win like that, those are the range of emotions that we will be experiencing before the Eagles kick off against the Falcons. That's where I see all this going. As far as the football world goes, so 27-24 is what I have for the Eagles and Packers tonight, with the Eagles winning. As far as football goes, last night, if you watch that game, holy Stromboli, what a game. Patrick Mahomes is very good at football. Lamar Jackson in the second half, very good at football. Derrick Henry still looks pretty damn good. Taylor Swift's beautiful. The offense she designed for Andy Reid looks great. But Toenails by Isaiah Lucky. Toenails. I don't know how Lamar Jackson can say after the game he didn't think it was a touchdown. He still doesn't think it's a touchdown. Or, sorry, he thought it was a touchdown. He still thinks it's a touchdown. Like, we all saw them toenails, man. Maybe next time don't clip your toenails before a game. I don't know. It was absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. If you didn't see it, I'm sure you'll see it at some point this morning. But this is John Harbaugh, I'm sure, after the game. Ugh. Thank you. I will never get tired of that. Hey, your Philadelphia Phillies are once again the best team in baseball. That's exciting. Kyle Schwarber did not homer in yesterday's game, but he did get a double. And when he was making things happen for the Phils in Toronto, that was all fantastic. But the Phillies in this particular game, despite the first inning run they got courtesy of Bryson Stott, the Phillies went out there and they got themselves a first inning RBI. All right. And then they stopped hitting with runners in scoring position. They got a couple of opportunities there with Kyle Schwarber in the third inning getting that leadoff double, and then they wasted it Trey Turner flew out to center field. That allowed Schwarber to tag over to the third. He's on third base, 1 out. Harper grounds out to first. Castellanos hits the ball in the screws. 3-1 fastball, lines out to third base. Then in the 4th inning, Stott strikes out on that slurve that Oler was throwing last night. Realmuto and Marsh get on base. Realmuto via a single, Marsh a walk. First and second, 1 out. Cody Clemens then works the walk. Okay. Bases loaded, 1 out. My man Johan Rojas steps up to the plate. Grounds into 4-6-3 double play. That's that. Still a 1-0 game. 5th inning. Phillies go down 1-2-3. Get nothing. Bottom of the 5th inning, Ranger Suarez does his job, throws 18 pitches, gets out of it. Also has a great play on Pache to rob him of an infield single on a chopper off the mound. Vintage Suarez in that situation. Then in the 6th inning, I guess the Phillies knew that Suarez was going to be done and Ruiz was going to be coming in and out of the bullpen. I don't know if it was motivation or whatever it was, but Phillies got some things going there in the 6th inning. After Nick Castellanos flew out to center field to start off the inning for the first out of the inning, Bryson Stott went to the upper deck in right field, 406 feet for his 11th home run of the season, made it a 2-0 ball game. Then Realmuto walked. Marsh got a single. First and third with 1 out. Oler goes out. Veneziano goes in. Clemens gets a 2-run double down the left field line. It's a 4-0 ball game. Then on a wild pitch later, Clemens scores, 5-0 ball game. Ruiz goes has a 10-pitch bottom of the 6th inning, 1-2-3 to go down the Marlins. Then Max Lazar goes in there, and he gives up an RBI single to Sanchez in the 7th inning, makes it a 5-1 ball game. 8th inning, Lopez reaches on an E5, courtesy of Cody Clemens throwing error. Run scores, Berger scores on that 5-2 game, and that's the way it ended. Matt Strahm came in to get his 3rd save of the season, and also his 2nd save in 3 games. So how about that? Phillies get the victory. Top team in baseball. After they lost 2 or 3 to the Orioles and got beat up by the Yankees real bad and lost 2 or 3 to the Guardians and lost 2 or 3 to that other team that's good at baseball, the Twins. Like, it's tough, even if they have the best record in baseball, which they do right now by percentage points. Not even percentage points, actually. Sorry, they just have the tiebreaker. So they're the top team in baseball. They don't even have the best record in baseball. They share that with the Dodgers. But they're the top team in baseball again. I'll take it. And as I mentioned earlier, Ranger Suarez, despite being banged up, went out there and pitched, according to Rob Thompson. So there's that. Also, no word on any break for Bryce Harper anytime soon. I think the Phillies are going to have to be up a couple games and have Alec Bohm back in order to sit Bryce Harper for any amount of time. And I'm not saying that he's going to go on the 10-day IL at this point. No, I'm not saying that at all, especially, and I'll run this down for you real quick, with the schedule you have coming up. You're not going to get a 10-day IL stint right now from Bryce Harper. Maybe if you sat him in the 2nd game against Toronto and sat him again tonight, that way it would only be 8 days. But coming up for the Phils after, so they got 3 games left against the Marlins. Then they have a 3-game, then they come back to South Philly for 6 games, 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 against the Mets. Those Mets games are going to be tough. And then you go to Milwaukee for a 3-game series with the Brewers. And then you got 4 against the Mets. And then Chicago, and then the Washington Nationals. So maybe Bryce Harper gets a break against the Tampa Bay Rays, depending on what the standings are looking like and depending on whether or not you have Alec Bohm back. But I'll cross my fingers that that's sooner rather than later. Hey, let me tell you about MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone. Create an account. Use pro code Farzy. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. If you're in the world of sports, no better way to take advantage of everything than MyBookie, mybookie.ag. You want to bet on the world of sports? You want to bet on the world of baseball? You want to bet on the world of football? You could even bet on the world of television. You could even bet on the world of politics at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. So download the MyBookie app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? You want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? The Game Time app has you covered. Game Time app's where it's at. How about this? Game Time Picks is the best way to search for tickets now. Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app allows you to filter out all the fluff to get right on down to the nitty-gritty of it. So you filter out all the thousands of tickets, and you just cut down to the best seats at the best prices with the Game Time Picks toggle. Just toggle that feature, and you got it. They also have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. All that right there is courtesy of the great people at the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Friday morning. The Eagles kicking off their 2024 campaign tonight. Good morning, James Alexander. Farzy, they have all the snacks ready for the game tonight. My prediction is Mitchell should get an interception. I like it. Welcome to the party, pal. Jason A., and good luck with them snacks. I will be at Parks Casino tonight with Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn. We'll be doing the pregame show, so don't miss that. Pre- and post-game show from Parks Casino, brought to you by Pond Lee Hockey. I wonder what snacks they'll have for us, Chickies and Pete's. I'm going to eat a lot of buffalo chicken cutlets. Probably way too many crab fries. My goal is to not gain 20 pounds over the course of football season. But that's where I'm at. IBH, good morning. Jason A., good morning. Go Birds, go Phils. April, game day, let's go. T-Bro, happy football Friday. It's friggin' go. Let's friggin' go. Go Birds. Wow. I think T-Bro's excited. Jason A. starting to round out into form now. If we can win tonight, it will be sweet. I agree. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Go Phils, go Birds. I love it. Jason A., makes sense. Don't worry, Farzy. The later, the better for me. Oh, that's what I mean. T-Bro, you're hilarious. April, you're hilarious. Daniel, hey. Sean Kilrain. Emilio Rubio, what's going on? So you think Eagles is going to the Super Bowl this year undefeated? Not yet. You give me a first possession touchdown, and you can sell me on it. Emilio, that's what every fan is saying on every Eagle podcast, that they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, look, I think the Eagles are absolutely right now, before the season starts, on paper, the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. But here's the thing. When the season starts, that throwing it away was not as loud as I hoped to be. Crimpling the paper was louder. But the paper goes in the garbage. Paper gets thrown in the trash. Doesn't matter until you start playing games. But yes, I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I won't be like, they're going to the Super Bowl until I watch them play. Mike Fuji, what's going on? Got an Eagles chant in the chat. Love it. James Hoffman, what's going on? Chester in the UK, what's going on? Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Football Friday. There you go, James. What's up, Chester? Real RMP, what's popping? Game day, go Birds, shut the haters up. James Hoffman, one game at a time. There you go. Who's going to take it one game at a time? Eagles win 50-0. Jalen, we're just going to take it one game at a time. Just appreciate the moment. I didn't play up to the standard. It should have been 57-0. Oh, I can't wait for that first. We didn't play to our standard. That's like, if the Eagles win 27-24, I guarantee you're getting a Jalen Hurts. Yeah, we didn't play to our standard. Jeff, what's going on? Eagles' second best offense in NFL history. Someone will always be open if not, Hurts can run. True. You got three good linemen in Lane, Dickerson, Mailata, with Kellen Moore. Better than Rams with Warner, Falk, and Holton, Bruce. Oh my goodness, Jeff. I love it. They certainly have that potential. Keith, how you doing? Good morning from Pasadena, Maryland. Big fan of Maryland. Love Maryland. Jason, what's going on? As you might know from doing shows at my brother-in-law's carport in Maryland. James A. Watch it. Mitchell and Maddox corner and slot with Slay. Oh, Maddox comes down. Oh, Sean Kilrain. Love it. Rent is officially due in Brazil. The rent's due every day. What is it? What's the currency in Brazil? Anyone know? I'm going to get something, I bet you, from 100 years ago. Like if I Googled Italy, it'd be like lira. That's the lira is due. What's the exchange rate down there? I didn't even look. Brazil currency. Oh, here we go. This should have it. Brazilian real. That's what they got going on down there? One Brazilian real is 18 US dollars. Or sorry, 18 cents. Huh. Damn. 100 US dollars converts to 557 Brazilian real. Oh, it's probably real. Right? Okay. Anyway, I've spent enough time on this. Chances are you're not going to the game tonight if you're watching this show. But yeah, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Rent is due. The real is due. IBH looks like the Chiefs aren't going away. Xavier Worthy looks like another Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he fast. Bro, Dr. Bros. There was so much drama week one. True that. Devin White doesn't travel with an ankle sprain. Isaiah Rodgers out. Cooper DeJean was slow and ran away from contact before he was injured again. Dr. Bruce, thank you. K. Raleigh, what's going on, Crowley? Jason, I wouldn't mind that. Oh, the Devonics can play. It's just his health. I agree with you on that, Crowley. However, I think it will be Ringo outside Mitchell in the slot. I think so, too. Joe Whip, Ranger just isn't right. Something is wrong. He doesn't look comfortable out there. That's a great way to put it. Did not look comfortable. Joe Whip, yeah, we got you already. Sorry. Daniel Shipley, what's going on? Or Donnell Shipley, what's going on? Fly Eagles fly. It's game day. Been waiting for this moment for a long time. I think we all have been waiting for this moment for the equal amount of time. Jeff, what's going on? Wolf's Domain. Hiya. Abe. What's going on, Abe? Ravens should has won, but it's all good. Okay, fair enough. People excited. Oh, vibes guy. No, I'm a vibes guy. No, Nick Sirianni's a vibes guy. Abe, hello again. We are actually acting like a group of grown men who has played multiple years, not know how to run an O-line without Kelsey. Come on. I believe in him. I believe in him too. Just saying is all. T-Bro, hello. It's definitely just Nick's voice that's gone. I just went through it, lost my voice for a week. No other symptoms. Interesting. April, he sounds like he has been on a bender. Oh! Jeff is with me. 27-24, actually with you, Mark. Can't touch the spread. Eagles -3. But bet the over 48 points total. Let's go. There you go. Darkwing Ducky, great name. I have a bad feeling about the Birds are going to be a victim of this illegal man penalty. I don't want to look at that. I don't even want to look at it yet. It looks like that. It looks like this. I think, is that the first time Leo's trying to crash the show? If you can hear that, it might be the first time Leo's trying to crash the show. Monopoly money. Yeah. Wait, what? Kyle, is it like saying brownies for sale, not poisoned? What? Oh, I see what you're saying. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. So the Eagles play at 8:15 tonight. All right. 8:15. The Phillies are at 7:10 tonight. Zach Wheeler gets the start against Edward Cabrera. You might remember Edward Cabrera from such previous starts as Grand Slam Kyle Schwarber. Remember that's what was saving the season? Okay. He is 3-6 on the season with a 5.33 ERA, is the 26-year-old right-handed pitcher out of the Dominican Republic. He's coming off a 5 1/3 innings, allowing 1 earned run, 2 runs in total against San Francisco Giants in a Marlins 4-3 victory. He hasn't allowed more than 3 runs over his last 3 starts, and he's gone at least 6 innings. At least 5 1/3 innings over those last 3 starts. As for Zach Wheeler, the one bad game he had against the Marlins was when Garrett Stubbs was catching him. That hasn't happened since. So I don't think Garrett Stubbs will be catching him this time around. Looks like JT Realmuto behind the dish for him. Zach Wheeler goes for his 14th win of the season. He's 13-6 with a 2.63 ERA. And how about this stretch from our man Zach Wheeler, trying to win himself a Cy Young Award going up against that pesky Chris Sale of the Bravos. Zach Wheeler has not allowed more than 2 runs in a start since July 29th. He had one hell of an August there with a 1.62 ERA, looking to carry that into good old September. That was his best month of the season, not including a 6 scoreless and only 1 start in the month of March. So keep on keeping on. And although, by the way, he also went 6 innings, at least 6 innings in every one of those starts in the month of September. He went 8 innings in his first start of August, 7 innings in his last start of August. So he's good. Did I say win number 3? I'm sorry, he's 13-6 on the season already. Win number 14 on the season. I might have misspoke there. I think I did. Win number 14 on the season. Looking to improve 14-6 on the season and lower that ERA even below 2.63. That would be nice. Where is Sale at right now? The Braves did lose last night, but Ronaldo Lopez pitched against the Rockies, so they helped him out a wee bit. Chris Sale's at 2.46. 2.46 ERA is where he's at. And record-wise, he's at 17 wins already? 16 wins. 16-3 with a 2.46 ERA. So, yeah, that's pretty good. He's pretty good at baseball. All right. Your Philadelphia Eagles kick off tonight, 8:15. If you haven't heard, this home game is being played in Brazil. I will be on with Seth Joyner, Derek Gunn, live from Parks Casino. That will be going down tonight at 8:15. Or excuse me, that'll be going on at 7:15, an hour leading up to kickoff. Can't wait for that. You guys can catch us on Seth Joyner YouTube channel, at Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel, as well as 6abc.com and across your favorite social media platforms. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day. Go Birds. No Locked On Sports podcast postcast responsibilities for me tonight. I'll be on with Seth and Gunner. But the Locked On Sports Philadelphia people have put together a great post-game show for you, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Or day, rather. My name is Mark Farzetta. Catch you guys later. Bye.